think about Detroit, I'm talking about the neighborhoods. I'm talking about Deep West, Deep East, Northwest, Southwest. There's experiences that come from those communities that are very important to understanding the experiences of all Detroiters.
There's so many good artists in Detroit. Everybody is not going to become nationally known, but when you go, you just hear really wonderful music.
We've got the beat of the nation here in Detroit, because here we have people that work together of all races, of all religions, who in this cosmopolitan area have found a way to solve our common problems. That is the lesson of Detroit.
This is the Metro on 101.9 WDET FM, Detroit Public Radio. I'm Tia Graham, and Detroit is known by many as the Motor City. Cars have a central place in our culture here. We clean them, we care for them, we show them off. And the Greektown Neighborhood Partnership wants to change that relationship we have with cars. They are working right on the Monroe Streetscape Transformation Project. Right now they're doing that, which is meant to allow the partnership to sometimes close down certain streets to cars and to make them more amenable to people. To talk a little bit about that project, we have Athina Pappas. Thank you so much. Pappas here with us. She is the chair and the president of the Greektown Neighborhood Partnership. Athina, welcome to the Metro.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, Athina, your family owns businesses throughout Greektown, and you're the chair of the Greektown Neighborhood Partnership. Before getting into this project, you have been have it going on. It's been going on for a little while. I actually just saw a picture of the cobblestones underneath the road, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. But tell us about your experience growing up in Greektown.
So my family has owned and operated businesses in the Greektown area for over 40 years. We own Pegasus and the Athina Suite Hotel. And so I've been going down to Greektown as a kid for decades and really just have always had some sort of pride and sense of excitement for the area. I used to go down to Trappers Alley before it was the Hollywood Casino at Greektown and see the fudge guys making fudge and singing and going to Pegasus. We had weekly dinners there with my family. That was just kind of our Sunday tradition. So once I kind of grew up and watched all of this happening, I really thought, with all the work and efforts that my parents, along with others in the Greektown district, have put forth, I really wanted to get involved. And started getting involved in the family business and then also the nonprofit organization, the Greektown Neighborhood Partnership.
Which, it's something different when you're growing up in that area and you're seeing it and you're seeing the people and you're seeing the love that's coming, especially as you're in Pegasus. With Pegasus, is like if you know, when you're in that area. It's such a staple for downtown Detroit and in the Greektown area. So just hearing that, can you talk to us a little bit about Pegasus and what it has meant to Greektown in the community?
Sure. I mean, I think we have a number of Greek restaurants in the area and have in the past, and there are multi-generations that are running these businesses. And so Pegasus is one of those, I think, legacy businesses that is a staple for not only residents, but also for tourists that come to Detroit. They know about it, they hear about it, and they stop there. And I think for myself, now having my own young kids, I want to maintain that legacy and make sure that Greektown continues to strive for the future generations.
Yeah, just thinking about Pegasus once again, it just feels like it should be there always. It should not, it just feels like it should just stay there permanently. But
I appreciate that. I feel the same way.
No, I know you do. But it's just that thing I notice when I'm in that area. It's just like, oh, there's Pegasus. You just know there it is. So the Monroe Streetscape Transformation Project does a few things, including expanding pedestrian zones, large landscaping, increasing lighting for visibility, and new signage and signature signage is. So I want to focus a little bit on expanding those pedestrian zones. What does that look like?
So what we are working on is reducing the street vehicular traffic to one lane of travel to have less vehicles throughout the district and provide a sense of traffic calming. We are widening the sidewalks to offer not only wider spaces for pedestrians to walk through, but also more space available for cafe seating for each of the businesses. And then also it will enhance the opportunity to have more programmed events. So we're instilling bollards that are removable so we can somewhat of a flex programming to offer, programmed events on weekends to pedestrian only if we choose to, and work throughout the district that way.
And what exactly will the streets where would they exactly be just for the pedestrians? So where are they located? Could you give us?
What we envision is at each intersection, coming from Randolph Street down to St. Antoine, there are bollards that are removable. And so depending on the type of event that we're programmed for, we currently are thinking, and we're still working through this, but weekend closures. But all the intersections will still remain open, and we can determine how many blocks we want to offer that programming. So sometimes it might be, all 3 blocks, and we have our Heritage Festival that we have done annually with a Greek lamb roast and things like that, and do a larger, bigger event. And other times it could be maybe one of the main blocks where most of the restaurants are concentrated, just to provide extra outdoor cafe seating and maybe some light music entertainment. And then the pedestrians would walk in the streetway.
Yes, which a lot of pedestrians already do in most of Greektown. So
yes.
Very interesting.
Exactly.
So during the NFL draft, you closed down part of Monroe Street. What was that experience like, and how much did it influence this particular project?
So I think the NFL draft allowed us to test kind of what's possible. This project was already in the works, and the construction and planning process was already underway. However, it did allow us to see, what is possible, what works, what doesn't work, and for the most part, how people use the street and how they felt on it. And it was a great success. We had a lot of people that came and visited, a lot of positive feedback. So it really encouraged us as we continue to finish the project, how we are looking at programming and what that will look like.
Nice. So I do want to talk a little bit about closing down the streets and what it means to have a walkable city and a walkable neighborhood, especially you talked about being a parent to young kids now. So can you just talk about the importance of having that walkability there in Greektown, just not just for the restaurants, but just for everyone involved?
Certainly. When we first started looking at this project, and it began with a vision framework plan in 2017, we looked to highlight what we could do to enhance the district for longevity. And one of the things that we looked at was it being an eastern gateway from the downtown for the city. And so that looks like from Campus Martius. Are we visible? Is it easy to walk to? And those things. So that's why there'll be increased signage and highlighting the district in that way. And as we progress with the project, it will feel more connected to the rest of the areas of the city. And I think that's really important, not only for the district itself, but for the overall downtown.
I mean, for me personally, I had no idea how close Greektown and that area was to Black Bottom. And I remember walking right from Black Bottom all the way through, and I just thought that was like 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes max walking. So that is, yes, we would love to know how close we are to some of the areas in our center of downtown Detroit. But I do want to take a step back and talk about your organization a little bit, Greektown Neighborhood Partnership. How do you all operate, and what is that for you?
So the Greektown Neighborhood Partnership has evolved over the years. It originally started as a small merchants association of the business and owners and property owners operating together. And we've evolved to now be, the Greektown Neighborhood Partnership, focusing on economic development with projects like this, as well as cultural heritage and making sure that we maintain that, because that's really important to the district. And also being a voice for advocacy for all the business owners and operators within the district and with the city, with the Downtown Detroit Partnership, with the state, kind of all the stakeholders involved. And we've really established a really good relationship with everyone involved, and we've received a lot of support. Over the years, we've had a lot of support for the district, but specifically for this plan.
Yeah, and just building on that just a little bit, if we can, the importance of having those relationships that are built up with not just community leaders, but also those who are investing and those who are city members as well, or city council members as well. So if you can, just talk about the importance of having someone like the Greektown Neighborhood Partnership in place to facilitate some of these moves that we're seeing, especially like this really cool one that we're seeing right now.
Sure. I think it's really important to be able to maintain one voice. And we're really fortunate that our community is very close, much like a family. It's not to say that we don't argue at all, but when we're coming together for a common goal, we really kind of align. And so to have one group, one voice communicating on our behalf helps strengthen those relationships.
Nice. We're talking about Greektown with Athina Pappas. She is the chair and president of the Greektown Neighborhood Partnership. We're talking about a project that Athina is working on to sometimes close down Monroe Street to pedestrians, make it more walkable, make it more accessible for those walking around in that area, especially in the summer, which I'm really looking forward to. So this Monroe Streetscape Transformation Project, which is the city's role, what is the city's role in this project? How does this thing get funded?
So for this specific project, we were awarded a $20 million grant from the state. We've had, as I mentioned previously, we've been working on this project since 2017, beginning with a framework plan, and had city and other stakeholders involved to guide that vision. We've also consulted, more in a consulting role, right? We've also consulted with the city along the way as we developed our design, because we wanted to make sure if we're going to build something on the city streets, they approve it and support it. And we've been really fortunate to have that support along the way. There's been some changes, and obviously they have a lot more experience with their streets than we do. So I think that it's been a great relationship, and we've really come together with the different departments to make this happen.
Yeah, and this is a $20 million project that you want to get done by the summer of 2026, so next summer. What could slow this thing down if Monroe Street isn't changed by then? What might have to happen to prevent it from changing?
I think we live in Michigan, so we have to say the weather. But otherwise, we are on a very good pace. We really reinforce with our construction team the importance of getting this done, really for the enjoyment of the residents and visitors, and also for the viability of the business owners. Right now, you can still visit Greektown. All the businesses are open, so don't forget about us while we're under construction. We encourage people to come down and see the changes happening. Parking lots and garages are still open. You might just have to walk a little bit more, but we still are open to pedestrians and things like that. So I don't see a lot that could really get in the way. We have such a momentum and support, other than, as I mentioned, the weather, snow and maybe in June. We should be on target for that date.
Please don't put that into existence. No. But aside from sometimes only allowing Monroe for pedestrian use, what excites you most about this project? I
think the evolution of the project itself, coming together and having the community really come together. We're adding a lot of trees, so we'll have a lot of tree canopy and things like that. Pedestrian height, somewhat lighting, so we've really looked at that and worked with the Detroit Police Department for safety and security, and also just the future and the programming and what this means not only for my parents and myself, but having this still here for my children to be able to enjoy.
Athina Pappas is the chair and president of the Greektown Neighborhood Partnership. She hopes to complete the Monroe Streetscape Transformation Project by the summer of 2026. As a native Detroiter, I am looking forward to it. I want to be there when the ribbon's cutting.
We'll invite you for sure.
Thank you. From the WDET newsroom, Governor Gretchen Whitmer is scheduled to meet with President Trump today to talk about tariffs and the impact they could have on Michigan. She's also supposed to give a speech on working with both major political parties to boost American manufacturing. And the Detroit City Council adopted a $3 billion budget for next year. It includes $20 million for DDOT and $3 million for community violence intervention programs. And the Michigan Board of Education heard concerns over how proposed federal policies could impact school lunches. The Trump administration wants to raise the threshold for districts to participate in a free school meal program. The proposal would mean a higher proportion of families in a district would have to be getting federal anti-poverty assistance like food stamps before the district can be in a meal program. Richard Browder is the director of student nutrition for the Brighton area schools. He says the policy could threaten Michigan's universal school lunches. Up next, a number of physicians are sounding the alarm on the link between alcohol and cancer. We'll learn more about that next. Stay right here for The Metro.